welcome back and welcome to my April wrap-up. I didn't think I would have to be doing an April wrap-up with this setup, but there we go, it's happening. I've read quite a lot of books this month, not gonna lie, but if you saw my most recent book haul, which I will link up here, you'll know that it's good that I've read a lot of books because I've acquired a lot of books this month as well. So I have my list here, I have my pile here. I will take you through the books that I've read. Some of these I have made videos about. Some of them, if you click the link in the blog post below, you'll be able to go to my written reviews of them if I've already done a written review for these books, because a lot of them I have already, which is fabulous. Okay. First physical book I haven't got here to show you because I passed it on to a friend because I enjoyed it so much I wanted her to read it too, and that is I've Lost My Way by Gayle Forman. But I did review this book as part of my 4 YA book reviews, so I will link that up here because there's a couple of others in this list coming that will be in that review as well. So firstly, I read a couple of quick reads this month to kind of like break it up between other reads. I read Clean Break by Tammy Cohen, which was on my TBR, yay, something that was actually on my TBR, and I also read 6'6" by Kit De Waal. These were both quite different quick reads that I'd read before. The Tammy Cohen one had switches in, it was a dual narrative and it also had switches in person, so it switched between like the third person and the second person with a little bit of first person in, which was quite strange. And then this one was all just a little bit on the gangstery side, which was interesting, but definitely both great reads. And again, I'll say it again, I cannot believe that Quick Reads is not being funded. There will be no 2019 Quick Reads, unless hopefully it's changed by the time this video goes up. Let's hope so. Then the next one, which is part of that aforementioned 4 mini reviews video, is The Exact Opposite of Okay by Laura Stephen. I featured this one in my book haul, and yes, I have already read it and I have already reviewed it, so it's in that book review, so you can hear my thoughts on that there. Then a book which was also featured in my book haul, so you'll be pleased to see that I have actually read it, and that is The Truths and Triumphs of Grace Atherton by Anstey Harris. And this one is not out until January next year, but I was told that I had to read it, and so I have read it, and I will be putting a video together with my thoughts on this one because music features highly in this one, and so I want to put together a video review which features the music as well, so that you can get an idea of the atmosphere that the music helps create in this novel. Really enjoyed this novel, was fabulous. One book which isn't in my book haul because a friend is lending me her copy of this book so that I can read it ready for publication day, because I have a copy of this book but it is in a different country to me. I have a proof copy of this book waiting for me when I get back to Denver, so a friend lent me her proof copy so that I could read it and love it, and I started it at about 2 o'clock one afternoon, and by 2 o'clock the next afternoon I had already finished it. So I believe the phrase unputdownable could be used for this book, and that is 5 years from now by Paige Toon. I'm toying with the idea of making a video review of this one, so let me know in the comments if you'd like to see my thoughts on this one that I read in less than 24 hours, even though I was in London and doing other stuff at the time as well. But yes, thank you for lending me your copy. You know who you are, I won't name you, but thank you for lending me your copy so that I could read it. I can give it back to you now, yay. Then another book which was in my haul and which is also featured in that 4 YA reviews video is Pudding by Julie Murphy. If you want to know my thoughts on this one, I have reviewed it on my blog. I also reviewed it in that aforementioned video. Go there, see my thoughts. Enough said on that one. Then more physical books, which I have actually read. I read the first 2 books in the Shopaholic series, Shopaholic, Confessions of a Shopaholic, or as it's known in England, well, the UK, Secret Dream World of a Shopaholic, and Shopaholic Takes Manhattan, which I believe was Shopaholic Abroad. I think. I got these two in the States though because they've got these gorgeous double covers. I was originally going to read one a week of these in April, but I only thought I was going to be here for 2 weeks of April, so I only brought these two with me, so I only have two of them. So Shopaholic Ties the Knot will be being picked up when I get back to Denver in May. So I'll probably end up reading either that or that plus Shopaholic and Sister when I get back to Denver. But I think I put the two of them on my May TBR just to see how I get on with them. I do have an ebook copy of it, but I was really enjoying reading these physical copies because they're lovely floppy paperbacks that just sit nicely, and these are stories which I pick up and just can't stop reading as well. So yes. Then I have two books where I have a proof copy and a physical copy of them now, but I actually read them on ebook. So we're entering the ebook portion. We've covered all the physical books that I've read this month. We are now entering the ebook portion of the wrap up. So the first of these is the very beautiful, very lovely The Man I Think I Know by Gayle. I am going to get myself a finished copy of this one because it is such a beautiful book, but I think I'm going to order it to arrive in Denver without me, rather than adding to my collection of books here that I need to take back to Denver with me, because I don't know how that's going to happen. But yes, I have reviewed this one on my blog already, so follow the link in the description for that one. Then I made a full review video of this one, so that one is going to be linked up here, and that is Our House by Louise Candlish. Again, beautiful book. I've read some beautiful books this month. I went to the launch of this one. I had already read it by this point. I read most of this on the plane over here, actually, and I read it in ebook, and then when I went to the launch, I went and got my copy so that I could get it signed. This is where I can't find the title page. My copy is signed, and yes, it's just a lovely book. And the US cover isn't going to be that different to this. It's basically going to be like that part of it, but with a little bit more darkness. So it will be easily recognisable over there if you are watching this in the US. It comes out in August. Amazing. Then this is where I need to consult my list to check what else I read. I'm not going to do the picture holding up on my iPad thing because it just ends up being shiny, so I'll just tell you about them, and if you want to know more about them, you can go to the blog post with my wrap up, which has all the links to my reviews in there. So I read Random Acts of Kindness, Part 3 by Victoria Walters, which I am loving. Part 4 comes out, I believe it's on the 2nd of June. I might be incorrect, I'm thinking of another one, it might be out in May. But I'm really excited to read that one. And I read Part 3 and I enjoyed it, and I have reviewed it on my blog, so it'll be down there. Another book that I read as part of that 4 YA reviews video that I made is Clean by Juno Dawson, so you can go to that video and see my thoughts on that one. I read Sam and Ilsa's Last Hurrah by Rachel Cohen and David Levithan. It's another YA novel. These collaborators are the ones who did Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, Dash and Lily's Book of Dares, 12 Days of Dash and Lily, and Naomi and Eli's No Kiss List. So I was very excited to read this one. These authors are kind of hit and miss for me. I love Every Day by David Levithan. I wasn't a massive fan of Two Boys Kissing. Love Dash and Lily's Book of Dares, but I wasn't a massive fan of Kill All Happies, which was Rachel Cohen. It's like very much hit and miss. Wasn't such a fan of this one, which, considering the fact that like Dash and Lily's Book of Dares and 12 Days of Dash and Lily together were on my top 10 for last year, I was really quite surprised about. Anyway, I read all 4 parts of Ottercombe Bay by Bella Osborne, which has been a serialised novel. The full novel itself is coming out in June, and the 4th part in the series is coming out next month, so you still have time if you want to catch up and read all 4 parts in this series. It is about Daisy, who relocates back to Ottercombe Bay and sort of finds out what life is like there now and decides whether or not she can have a fresh start here. And obviously it's set by the seaside, but there's all sorts of drama that goes along with it, and it's serialised as 4 parts. Part 4, I'd say, is coming out 10th of May, and the full novel together is coming out on, I think it's the 20th of June. It might be the 28th of June. Not 100% sure on that one, but all 4 parts are reviewed on my blog, so they will be in the description box below. Then, we've done all the ebooks. Moving on to audiobooks. Couple of these were on my TBR. Doing well with sticking to the TBR-ish. I first of all listened to Tom Hanks' Uncommon Type, which is his collection of short stories. They're all short stories. Some of them are shorter than others. Some of them are only like 7 minutes long. Some of them are like over an hour long. So they're very different in length. They're also very different in content and almost kind of different in genre as well, because some of them are sci-fi-ish and some of them are historical fiction. It's quite a mishmash of stories. I definitely liked some more than I liked others. The second story, or the third story in particular, was really good, and they've all got this theme around a typewriter, so you're listening thinking, when's the typewriter going to come up? When is the typewriter going to enter the story? That's always interesting. And then I listened to The Bells by Dhonielle Clayton, because I was meant to be going to an event with her, with my library. Obviously, that didn't happen because I wasn't there, but listened to that, so now I can say I've listened to that. Then I listened to Two Steps Forward by Graeme, Simsion and Buist. I'm not sure. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. This was written by the two of them, and it's about two people who meet walking the Camino Trail. And yeah, the general reaction of this book, he tweeted, is that, oh, I want to know more about this trail. I want to go on this walk. Which I was like, oh, I've not really heard of this trail so much. And I definitely had that reaction to it. But full review on my blog in the description box. Then I listened to The Poet X. I actually listened to this one on the plane over as well, and it was quite soothing and calming to listen to on the plane over, but this one's really, really interesting. Haven't reviewed this one yet, but I will be, so keep an eye out on my blog for that one. Then I listened to the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society, because I wanted to listen to the book, or read the book, before I went and saw the film, so that I could make a book versus movie for you guys. So that will be coming up on my channel very soon. Going to be making that video very, very soon. This one I do have in paperback form, but it's in Denver, so I got the audiobook so I could listen to it. And yeah, have some thoughts on this one. Video coming up with those very soon. Then I listened to The Image of You by Adele Parks, because I am going to an event with her. As this video goes up, I will have just been to the event with her, so that's exciting. And I'd had this one on my sort of audiobook shelf for quite some time, and I was like, right, here's the impetus to read it. I also listened to The Self-Care Project by Jane Hardy, which I'd seen a lot of people talking about on Instagram, and I'd seen it in the shops, and so I decided, was it on a Kindle deal or an Audible deal? It was one of those where you bought the book and you could get the other one. So I've got it on Kindle and Audible. So it was interesting, definitely pause for thought. And it's one of those books that makes you stop and take action, which is always good. And yeah, there you have it. I did pretty well at sticking to the TBR this month, aside from the fact that I read more than was on my TBR this month. But then I wasn't expecting to have as much time to read as I did. I also wasn't expecting to be going to as many book events and acquiring as many books as I did. You'll notice that a few of the books that I've read have been books that I've got whilst I was here. So definitely getting those books makes me want to instantly go, oh, I'm going to go ahead and read that. So yeah, I think I did pretty well. And we've kept this video at just about 15 minutes, so that's much better than the book haul that I filmed. I apologise for that long video. It had to be done. So I am now going to get excited about the books that I'm going to be beginning in May. My May TBR is going to be one of those where I'm like, again, I don't know how much time I'm going to have to read. I'm going to be hopefully travelling again, and I'm going to be going to some more book events before I leave the country. So yeah, May TBR might have to be a little bit flexible. You'll have to, you know, give me a little bit of leeway on the May TBR. Not that I believe you are holding me to this TBR. But yeah, I'm going to film that for you because there's lots of May releases I'm excited about, some of which I have already read that I mentioned in this wrap up here, but I will talk about those a little bit more in my May TBR video, and yeah, that will be my next video, so make sure you've subscribed so that that lands right in your subscription feed. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and let me know if you would like to have a video with my thoughts on the new Paige Toon novel, because if there's a positive reaction to that, I will make one. Perfectly at liberty to do that. Thank you so much for watching and sticking with me to the end. I hope you enjoyed. As I say, give me a thumbs up if you did, and I will see you with my May TBR next. Bye.